Hi everyone, Linda from Let's Talk Prepping, and it's time. As you know, I've kind of stopped making videos, but I really felt I had to make this one for you because I really feel it's time to get ready, to get your prepping into high gear. That's why I'm making this video, because it's so easy to procrastinate and to think we have all the time in the world to get ready when we really don't. It's easy to do nothing. It's so easy to say nothing has happened so far, so I don't think anything's ever going to happen. And then we just go about our life and we just forget about prepping, or we put it very low on our priority list. And I think that's a big mistake we're making right now. With the new year, it's time to look around us and see what is going on and how is it going to affect us and what we can do about it. It's time to get real. What exactly do I mean? Well, things are getting dicey out there. It's time to look at the world and national events and evaluate them. What is the probability they will occur in the near future, or is it going to be many years from now? And then we have to gauge the effect it's going to have on ourselves. Then we have to prepare for action, get an emergency plan and a preparedness plan. So let's start with the Mideast and the Red Sea. Ask yourself, will it get worse? If you think it's going to get worse, how much worse? And how does it affect me? Well, it's going to affect you if it gets worse with supply chain problems. We've got ships now having to go all the way around Africa because they're not going to go through the Red Sea because of all the bombings there. So what is it going to do? Well, it's going to raise the price of oil for one thing, and most experts are really wondering why oil hasn't soared in price already. And then it's going to raise the price of other goods. And you know, we already have a shortage of some medications. So ask yourself, what do I have to buy before it gets any worse? What do I need before that just disappears? And you're saying, well, it's going to go around Africa, so that's okay. Just going to take us longer to get there. Well, that's true, but the price of going around Africa is going to be a lot higher, so prices will go up. And what happens if it's that ship you're waiting for that gets sunk by one of those missiles? Then you're not going to get that item, whatever it happens to be. So maybe all of this will evolve into a bigger war. And maybe it'll involve the U.S. and NATO, and most people say we're already involved over there. But that means more and more government spending, and it means more money printing. And our dollar is losing value now, so the more we print money, the faster it's going to go down in value, which means all items are going to go way up in price. So if you think this is highly likely to occur, this is the time to get ready. If you think it's going to occur in the near future, you really have to start prepping now. If you think it's going to be, oh, it's not going to affect me, it's a far-off event, well, then you don't have to worry about it. But this is your job at this point in time, to figure out, will this event, whatever it happens to be, affect me, and how close is it to happening, and what do I have to do? So none of us knows for sure. We can only look at everything going on around us and decide if we need to get ready. So one thing you should be doing again is stocking up on the items that might be hard to find or might go way, way up in price. Now, you know, many countries, Sweden, Argentina, are telling their citizens to prepare for war and shortages and to get ready. Great Britain is talking about preparing for the draft, to telling their citizens there's going to be a war with Russia eventually, so they might get drafted. Our government's not telling us to prepare for war or anything like that. But if these other countries are doing it, do you think that maybe war is imminent? Maybe it isn't. You have to make the decision for yourself and your family. And as you know, many countries would like us to have a war on our shores. And is that possible? Could it happen? If it happens, what would you have to do to prepare for it? Food is a basic necessity. And just think, over the last year, if you had only bought 1 can of vegetables or pinto beans, some kind of beans, or meat, anything, 1 can a week every time you went to the grocery store. Now, this time, if you did this last year, now you would have over 50 cans. Now, that's not a lot, but it certainly is a big start. So think about that. Just 1 can a week, 1 extra can, and see what it's going to do for you. Now, what about our southern border? That's really heating up now. We've got many military-aged men coming across, the Chinese among them. Many people are talking that these people are going to be given a go signal at some point, and they're going to sabotage our electric grid, our water supply, our food chain, or just plain old guerrilla war. What are the chances? If you think that's a high priority, that's what you've got to be prepping for. And I can't tell you what the chances are of any of these things happening, but personally, I think it's all possible and likely to happen sooner rather than later. What about Texas now? Will Texas continue to stand up to the U.S. government and secure that part of the border? Or will they cave in? Will Biden send the army down to Texas? You've got to decide how likely these events are and what the effect on you will be. What are the chances of a black swan event? What could it be? Even the mainstream media has been mentioning that we could have a black swan event. So are they foreshadowing what's going to happen? Do we have to worry about something like that? How about another pandemic? They're talking about disease X. What about our chances of that happening? I'd say probably pretty high. What about a climate lockdown? They would try it if they could. So are you prepared to be locked down, either forcibly or of your own accord? And for how long? How long could you survive a lockdown? And how much food would you have? How about water? So if we have a lockdown, whether you decide to have a lockdown on your own accord because it's too dangerous to go out, or the government locks us down, how long could you be locked down and survive? What would you do? Would you have the food? Would you have the water? Would you have the security? What if we do get another pandemic? I just did a video. The last video I did was on buying a nebulizer to help you if we have a pandemic. I would advise you to get a nebulizer. They're fairly cheap, and that video told you what you could nebulize that might help you in a pandemic. So it's time to prepare for anything you think might happen before it's too late. Take stock of what you think is most likely to occur, then decide what you would need to do to ride it out. More war will mean higher prices here, and maybe some shortages of critical items, such as ammo, gunpowder, food, medical supplies. So anything you can stock up now will be like money in a bank. What's the possibility of the dollar collapsing? You know, all currencies have ultimately collapsed. So if this is something that you think will happen, you need to get prepared. What you need, maybe food, gold, silver, land, tangible items, crypto. I don't know. I haven't bought crypto, so I can't tell you. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence. But if the dollar collapses, you definitely are going to need an alternative currency or more food. What if Trump is elected? What do you think is going to happen? Remember the riots we had with the Black Lives Matter riots, the chaos in the streets? You know that's going to happen if Trump is elected. And cities will be blocked. Will you be able to get food and supplies? You know they're going to try to block roads and highways, so you might not even want to go out to try to get any supplies. So it's in your best interest to have as many supplies as you can on hand. So if you think it can't happen, just think back a couple of years ago how bad that was. Now, it might not have happened where you were, but I would really believe if they decide to take to the streets, they're going to enlarge it, and it's going to happen in more and more places. I just really hate talking about all this doom and gloom. But if that's what it takes to get you to prepare, then that's a good thing. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to list the things you think will happen in order of priority or probability, the highest one first. Then list what you would need to do to survive that catastrophe and start getting those items now. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention, the war on food. Cows are bad now. We know that. They're trying to get rid of meat, have you eat those crickets and bugs. Backyard gardens are now considered worse than large farms. I can't tell you why, but that's what they keep saying. And did you know that the WEF said you shouldn't drink more than 2 cups of coffee? Now, wait for this, 2 cups of coffee a year, not even a day or a week, a year. Come on, due to climate change. So they're trying to eliminate everything they can. They're trying to get rid of all our food. They're trying to eliminate us if they can. So it's time that you get yourself and your family prepared as much as possible while there's still time. Look at every aspect of your prepping: food storage, water sourcing and filtration, sanitation, we kind of forget about that, security, medical. What are you going to do if you can't get your medicine, or if someone gets hurt and they can't get to the doctor? Your heating, your cooling, your off-grid electricity. Look at all those aspects of your prepping and decide what you need to do now. And don't put it off any longer. We need to anticipate what's going to happen, not to react to it, because when we go to react to it, it's too late. It's after the event. It's time now to take stock of what is going on in the world and prepare accordingly. It's also time to subscribe and comment, and thanks for watching.